Good morning. Denise Dryden here. I'm back on Bainbridge Island. I've been gone for not quite a week, but enough time to have a really nice vacation. And I wanted to, sort of catch up and talk about what we're going to do today, which is the actions of choice. So when I went to Montana, I went to visit my daughter and to play in a place that's magnificent, to be around trees, to be around the rivers, the lakes, just the huge sky full of stars. It was fabulous. I didn't make any plans to meet with anybody because I went to do my own work. I went to do the things that I needed to do in the mountains, and I knew that they could teach me, that they could talk to me. So I sort of let it be organic. I let things fall into place. And this was by design, because over the last 4 months I've been doing, I've been on three iTunes podcasts. I've done 2 global and national summits, conferences, digital conferences, talking about what I'm seeing with sensitives in the education system and kids, and sort of like pushing and shaping and designing and trying to sort of shift. Well, who do I want to be next? What do I want to do? And I've been efforting a lot, making sure that my information is spot on, making sure that I'm ready, making sure that, fill in the blank, making sure. So I've been watching and feeling my way through this, and I was exhausted and I was stuck. I knew that there was something else that I wanted to sort of shift into, something I wanted to do. Didn't know what it was and wasn't sure how to get there. So what used to work didn't work anymore for me. I had no idea of what would work, right? I had no idea where to start and what would work. I had some inklings, but nothing really solid. And I tried to push and make things work because it was like, this is my livelihood. This is my coaching practice. This is me. And I spent a lot of time and energy trying to understand and control something that was changing. All the while talking to you each week about Chiron, about the wounded healer, about what's going on astrologically, what's going on in our nation, and knowing that we're in a period of change, huge change. And so I was doing my own wrestling with how do I approach that, using the tools that I teach you and realizing that I needed deeper tools for me. So what I discovered was that, number one, all of this is much bigger than I thought it was. The old ways of problem solving, creating, shaping are just not working. The ways that I used to effort into something to make something happen doesn't work anymore. And that I'm being taught something really important and that I'm paying attention. When all else fails, pay attention, right? So what I needed to do is pay attention and get fully present. So I know that, out on Bainbridge, I had this opportunity to do it for an hour or two, like get outside and walk in the Grand Forest for the morning and then do my coaching calls in the afternoon. So I was building my time off around work. I was also, taking a weekend where maybe from Friday night until Saturday night, because I do these videos on Sunday, or Friday night to Monday morning, and realizing that I might have to do a coaching call Saturday morning, I might have to do a video on Sunday, and sort of fitting all of these in, and the structure was still in place, so I was letting go, but not very much. So when things are big and I need time and space, I go to the mountains of Montana, away from structure. So the best part about that is that there's an 8.5-hour drive over 3 mountain passes with massive quantities of open sky. So I put some music on and I just let my body drift. 4 days in Montana, in wide open mental space. I spent time with wise ones and I walked. We walked along the river. I met someone to sit and watch the moon rise with a really nice glass of wine. I played a lot of cards with my daughter, and all of this was without a purpose or an agenda. It was holding and saying, so who wants to get together with me? How do I feel about that? And then what can I provide myself during all of this discovery? So I started with a morning of yoga. Every morning, every single morning, 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I was on the mat starting to take care of myself, and then sort of in that ooey gooey place, walking out and going, I wonder what's going to happen today. So what I discovered is that it's all about choice, and choice is an internal job. Choice is when we're presented with an external situation and we have to decide, who do we want to be in that situation? Who do I want to be when all of these changes are going on? So we can focus on fear and worry. And so go to fear and worry, kids, jobs, relationship. You can fill in the blank on anything. Are you in fear? Are you in worry? Control, where you effort and shove and push against the energy and make it be what we need it to be. Think again, kids, jobs, relationship. Where are you trying to control things? You can be the observer, which is to step back and see and feel how many strings are attached to all of this. Again, kids, work, relationship. How many strings pull on you, tug on you, lash you down? Like how many strings really are there? And the other one is to define ourselves, to identify who we are and what role we play in this. So, it's drama, and I kind of like the idea that I feel really good at my problem solving, so I jump into drama so I feel good about myself. So these are the roles that we play: kids, jobs, and relationship. How are they showing up? So this is our choice, right? This is completely our choice of what we're going to do. Choice starts it starts in our minds. It starts in our heads. It's not out there. It's in here, right? It's shaped by what we believe is important, what we value, what we've experienced, what we want more of, what we want less of. So our choices are driven by how we categorize and view and sort and manage everything in our head. Choice is when we get stubborn and attached to kids. How they do in school, how their rooms look, how they present themselves, how polite are they to their grandparents, how they act within the family system. We get attached and stubborn in our jobs, at how we do the work. Do we feel confident, useful, seen? Are we compensated? Do we like what we do? Do we like who we do it with? Do we get stubborn and attached in relationships? How the other person makes us feel. What they do that you like, what they do that you don't like, and what is their real impact on your world? Is it for you or against you? Are you competing when you're at work, or are you thriving and letting your best self come up? And are you happy with that? How do you feel? How do you access love? Now, in our relationships, how do we look at the other person and say, if they love me, then I must be lovable. If they're mad at me, then I get to be mad at them. And so look at how we have these external relationships that whatever they do, we have a reaction to. So choice comes down to us, right? It comes down to our expectations, our visions, our needs, our wants, our patience, kindness, experiences. These are all ours. They have nothing to do with anybody else. So choice, again, is an internal job, right? So the universe rewards action. I heard this in an Insight One retreat in 1985 in the Philadelphia area. The action may not be what we do. Think about that. If the universe rewards action and the action isn't about doing, what is it? So what I'm learning is that action is about choices. It's where the internal mind goes, do I need to do something with this? And then it knows how to harness all that energy and go towards it. Or do I need to watch it and let it inform me? Do I need to step back and be entertained by it? Or do I need to ignore it? This is all what comes from right here in our head, right? So when we allow these constraints that come in to our freedoms and our thoughts and our feelings and our experiences, these constraints will shut down choice. So constraints like schedules, opinions, goals. These constraints are how we manage the external world. We have an idea in our head, and then we're shifting and pushing the external world to shape what goes on in our head. When the action may be to go into our head and go, why are you trying to do that? It's an internal job. This is how we begin to dismantle. We've talked, if we're going from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age and we have to dismantle the last 2,000 to 3,000 years, start here. Let's start in our heads, which is what's holding us. Are we unhappy? Are we stressed? Are we worried? Are we tense? Are we sick? Are we tired? Are we hopeless? Are we beaten down? This is what's going on in our heads. So the actions of choice, for me, what I want to pass on to you is create time and space and let go and feel your body. You know, when I could really just get to that open space where I didn't have to make a phone call, I had taken my calendar and just shoved it off and didn't talk to anybody in any way, shape, or form related to work for 4 days plus 2 days of 8.5-hour drives, my body started to separate from it all and started to see it differently. So let go of time and space. And whether you can do it for an hour a day and you can really just let go, whether you can do it for a day, where you can detach from these feelings. Detach completely and go, let them float out in front of you. If we think we're thinking about it, right, and we're still doing the dishes and we're still, you know, trying to manage the kids, or we're still commuting to and from work, we're not really free to dismantle. What we want to do is find time, space to dismantle. Let this time inform you. How does it feel when you go back and you pick it up? Is it dread? Is it joy? I missed you. Oh, I'm coming back in. I enjoy you so much. I missed you. Or I can't even touch it. It's so egregious to me. What do you want to change? What do you want to put down? What do you want to stop? What do you want to leave? And then what do you notice when you pick it up? Does it flow differently now with you? Think of kids. Think of jobs. Think of relationship. What happens when you disconnect and you come back in? How does it feel? So take these actions, right? Take these actions and open them up and become the master of choice. So the actions of choice is giving yourself space, letting yourself understand what it looks like and feels like, and then deciding what you're going to do from there. And finding out how much power do you really want to give this. So if you're interested in more information, there's always videos of mine on YouTube and on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com. Have a fabulous Sunday. Have a fabulous last week of July. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.